There are certain places in this world that might look harmless to the eye, but to the spirit, they are poison. You see, when God chooses you, He separates you, not because you're better than others, but because your spirit carries light, a divine assignment that cannot mix with darkness. And if you ever find yourself walking into the wrong territory, that light begins to dim. So today, I want to share with you 9 places a chosen one should never go to. Because these are the spiritual danger zones where your anointing weakens, your energy drains, and your purpose becomes clouded. Before we begin, I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, why did I find this message today? Maybe you've been feeling out of place, restless, or spiritually tired. This message might just be heaven's way of reaching you. So if you've received this message at the exact moment you needed it, type 11 in the comments section to confirm divine alignment and receive your blessing. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because this channel is a sanctuary for the chosen, a place where we protect our peace, elevate our mind, and walk boldly in divine purpose. 1. The place where gossip feeds the air. The first place a chosen one should never go is where gossip lives, where words are used not to heal, but to wound. You can always feel it before you even join the conversation. The air becomes dense, the laughter feels sharp, and the peace in your spirit begins to fade. Gossip is not harmless talk. It is spiritual contamination disguised as casual conversation. Every word spoken against another person becomes a vibration that lingers in the atmosphere, poisoning the energy of those who listen and those who speak it. The chosen one's power flows through purity, through a clean heart, clear intentions, and a guarded tongue. When you sit among those who tear others down, you unknowingly lower your vibration to match theirs, even if you never say a word. Your silence becomes participation. God will not dwell where the tongue is used as a weapon. The mouth that blesses cannot also curse, and the same lips that worship cannot also wound. So guard your ears like sacred gates, for what you allow to enter them will eventually take root in your heart. And remember, what enters your heart can shape your destiny. When you protect your energy from gossip, you are protecting your anointing. Some atmospheres carry invisible toxins, the kind that kill joy, distort perception, and invite confusion. Walk away from such tables. For the meal being served, there is poison to your spirit. Peace cannot coexist with pettiness. 2. The place where you're tolerated, not celebrated. Chosen ones often walk into rooms where they feel invisible, where their light is too bright for those who've grown comfortable in shadows. You can sense it in the way people respond to your presence. Polite smiles, empty compliments, energy that feels more forced than free. These are not your spaces. You were not called to shrink yourself to fit into environments that cannot recognize your worth. God didn't pour His oil on your life for you to beg for validation. The moment you notice you must dim your light to be accepted, that is heaven's whisper saying, leave. You were never meant to fight for belonging in rooms that were never built to hold your magnitude. Energy doesn't lie, and divine energy will always resist where it's dishonored. When people can only handle a smaller version of you, it's not rejection, it's redirection. The Spirit of God will disturb your peace in wrong environments, because comfort in the wrong place is the beginning of spiritual decline. Go where your soul is seen, where your peace is preserved, and where your growth is encouraged. Because when God elevates you, not everyone can breathe at your altitude. Some will resent what they cannot rise to. Some will misunderstand your calling because it confronts their complacency. Do not stay where you are merely tolerated out of fear of being alone. Isolation in divine timing is safer than inclusion in counterfeit circles. The places that celebrate your growth are sacred. They are proof that heaven approves of your next season. 3. The place of old temptations. There are places that once held your weakness, rooms that remember your tears, corners that echo your former cravings, and faces that once knew the version of you that no longer exists. No matter how long you've been free, they still call your name in moments of fatigue or loneliness. Whether it's a physical place, a person, or a memory, going back there reopens spiritual wounds you worked hard to heal. The enemy uses familiarity as bait because he knows the human heart seeks comfort in the known, even when the known is destructive. He whispers, "Just one more time. You've changed. You can handle it now." But that one more time can undo years of deliverance and discipline. Chosen one, never return to the place God delivered you from. When he shuts a door, even curiosity becomes disobedience. The past has a strange pull. It promises nostalgia but delivers bondage. The enemy doesn't need new traps when the old ones still work. He only needs you to forget how much it costs to escape them. Let your past stay buried, because resurrection is for purpose, not temptation. Every time you revisit your Egypt, you delay your Canaan. Remember, what God freed you from was never meant to be a vacation spot, it was a prison. Don't tour your old chains as souvenirs. True freedom is not tested by how much you resist temptation, but by how far you stay from it. Protect your deliverance like treasure, because the devil always wants back what he lost. 4. The place of endless distraction. In this digital age, distraction has become one of the devil's most effective tools. The place of distraction might not even be a physical location. It can exist right in your hand, glowing through a screen, whispering to you through endless notifications. You scroll endlessly, compare your life, chase noise instead of stillness, and before you know it, hours are gone, yet your spirit feels emptier than when you began. Distraction is not always loud, sometimes it's gentle, disguised as entertainment, updates, or self-expression. But the chosen one knows every minute stolen from your focus is a seed that could have been planted toward your destiny. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to keep you busy. A distracted mind cannot hear divine instruction. Every scroll, every like, every comparison pulls you further from your spiritual frequency. Chosen ones thrive in focus. Protect your attention like sacred currency, because whatever has your attention controls your energy, and your energy is your essence. Your anointing flows through focus. When you give your attention to meaningless things, you give away fragments of your power. Learn to disconnect from the noise to reconnect with your source. Silence isn't absence, it's alignment. Every great revelation comes in stillness. So, unplug not because the world is bad, but because your destiny is loud enough only when the world is quiet. Be intentional. Your energy is not a public park, it's holy ground. Guard it fiercely. 5. The place where spirit feels heavy. Have you ever entered a place and immediately felt something was off? The people might be smiling, the lights bright, the music loud, yet something in your spirit grows uneasy. That's not anxiety, that's discernment. The spirit realm speaks in feelings long before the mind catches up. When your peace feels attacked for no reason, your soul is sending a signal, this is not your territory. Certain environments carry residue from dark intentions, envy, bitterness, or spiritual unrest. The walls may look harmless, but the atmosphere tells another story. You can't fake energy. It reveals what words try to hide. When you sense that heaviness, don't rationalize it away. You are not paranoid, you are perceptive. Chosen ones are spiritual barometers. Their spirit reacts to unseen forces. Light cannot dwell comfortably in darkness. Every time you ignore the heaviness, you expose yourself to contamination. Protect your peace like a soldier guards a fortress. Your discernment is not just intuition, it's divine intelligence. When heaven warns, obedience becomes your shield. There are places God has marked off limits because your presence there interferes with His protection. Some rooms are not cursed, they're simply not for you. Never force your spirit to settle where it feels unsafe. The unease you feel is not weakness, it's divine sensitivity. When God has placed light within you, you will always feel uncomfortable in dark energy. Listen to that voice inside. It's heaven whispering, "Leave before the atmosphere drains what I gave you." 6. The place that makes you forget who you are. Chosen ones must never stay in environments that strip them of their divine identity. There are places and people that slowly erode your sense of purpose, not through open attack, but through subtle disbelief. You know those spaces, where your faith is mocked, where your values are belittled, and where spiritual truth is treated like foolishness. You begin to feel small for believing in something greater, and your divine fire begins to flicker beneath the winds of ridicule. But remember this: every time you stay too long in an atmosphere that doesn't align with your calling, you risk spiritual amnesia. You begin to forget your crown, your anointing, your divine assignment. God has placed authority within you, not to boast, but to bless. And any place that makes you doubt that authority is a spiritual trap in disguise. The enemy doesn't need to steal your destiny if he can make you forget it. Chosen ones are not meant to blend in. They are meant to stand out, even when it's uncomfortable. The world may label your conviction as arrogance, but it is divine confidence clothed in humility. Remember, identity is not maintained in comfort, it's protected in awareness. Stay in spaces that remind you of your calling, that feed your purpose, that stretch your growth. Any room that demands your silence when you should speak truth is too small for your spirit. You are not created to be liked, you were created to lead by example. So never linger in places that erase your spiritual fingerprint. God didn't call you to conform. He called you to transform the atmosphere. And if the atmosphere refuses to change, then your absence will be your message. 7. The place of the unequally yoked. One of the hardest lessons for chosen ones is realizing that not everyone can walk with you. You can love deeply, pour endlessly, and still find yourself misunderstood. The place of the unequally yoked is not always romantic. It can be friendships, business partnerships, even family connections. It's where your spirit and another's energy constantly collide, creating silent battles that drain your peace. You try to explain your vision, but they see limitation. You try to rise, but they pull you down, not out of malice, but because your light exposes what they refuse to confront. Understand this: God doesn't pair oil with water. He doesn't align fire with dust. Spiritual incompatibility is not about superiority, it's about frequency. You cannot walk in purpose while being chained to someone still loyal to their past. The moment you notice you must lower your vibration to maintain peace, that relationship has already expired. Love doesn't always mean longevity. Sometimes releasing people is the most loving act you can do, for them and for yourself. Protect your alignment, because misalignment invites confusion. The devil will always try to link you with those who dilute your discernment. But you must learn to differentiate loyalty from limitation. Not everyone who came with you is meant to continue with you. Some were divine assignments for a season, not eternal companions for your destiny. You owe no apology for outgrowing people who refuse to evolve. When you guard your spirit, you guard your future. Remember, unequally yoked connections may look peaceful, but they drain power. Walk with those who match your hunger for growth, not your history of pain. 8. The place that looks beautiful but feels empty. The devil doesn't always come wearing horns. Sometimes he comes dressed as everything you've ever wanted. There are places, opportunities, and relationships that look perfect on the outside but feel hollow on the inside. A beautiful place can still be spiritually bankrupt. The chosen must learn to see beyond appearance, because deception often hides behind aesthetics. The enemy is a master marketer. He sells emptiness in beautiful packaging. There are clubs filled with laughter but starved of peace, partnerships that promise success but breed exhaustion, and circles that praise your name but poison your spirit. Discernment is the only vision that sees through the glitter. The chosen one knows that not all open doors are divine invitations. Some are distractions designed to detour destiny. God's blessings bring peace, not pressure. If it doesn't bring peace to your soul, it's not from Him. Some environments are beautifully designed prisons, where your joy is traded for appearance and your purpose is exchanged for applause. Don't let temporary beauty seduce you out of permanent alignment. Learn to listen to the silence beneath the noise, for that's where truth speaks. Divine things carry lightness, but demonic things carry glamour. If your soul feels uneasy in a place that looks perfect, trust your spirit more than your senses. The enemy will always try to make the counterfeit look like covenant, but discernment will always expose the truth behind the glow. So, walk not by sight, but by spirit. You don't need every opportunity, you need divine assignment. Remember, not every paradise is from heaven. 9. The place you were never meant to return to. This is perhaps the most dangerous of all, the place you've outgrown. The place that once felt like home, but now feels foreign. God will often allow discomfort to push you out of familiar territory, because your destiny can't thrive in stagnation. Many chosen ones lose their power not through sin, but through nostalgia. They refuse to leave where their spirit no longer belongs. You can't soar while clinging to old branches. Growth is uncomfortable, but remaining in what's expired is fatal to the soul. Don't go back to prove a point. Don't go back to fix what God already closed, and don't go back to make others comfortable. Every time you revisit dead seasons, you breathe life into what was meant to stay buried. Familiarity feels safe, but it breeds spiritual decay. God is not in your history, He is in your destiny. He cannot pour new oil into old vessels. When you revisit old environments, you lower your frequency to match a version of yourself that no longer exists. Sometimes, God separates you not to punish you, but to protect your progress. The people you left behind may not understand your distance, but that's because they were not called to your next level. Don't waste divine energy defending divine direction. Move forward, even if it's lonely, because forward is where your next blessing waits. The path of the chosen one is narrow, but it is holy. Your past is proof of where you came from. Your future is evidence of who God is shaping you to become. Never look back. Lot's wife did, and she turned to salt. Some doors close not because of rejection, but because of redirection. Trust that. Every chosen one must understand this truth. Your spiritual safety is not about fear, it's about wisdom. God hides His greatest warriors not to punish them, but to protect them. These 9 places might seem ordinary, but they hold extraordinary danger to the spirit that carries divine purpose. This is the Zillion Mind Channel. If this message found you at the exact time your spirit needed it, type 1111 in the comments. Let heaven see your alignment. And if you haven't already, subscribe and stay close, because in a world full of confusion, this is your reminder that you are guided, you are protected, and you are chosen. Thank you for watching.